Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. Today, we're going to be showing you our 3 equal opportunities reporting tool, and we'll be talking about how you can use it and leverage your findings from it to promote equal opportunities in your charity and to drive your recruitment strategy. So my name is Lucy and I work at CharityJob as a senior research manager. So we do a mix of social and user research here, and we use that to produce reports, blogs and webinars to inform recruiters about best practices for attracting and retaining talent in the sector. And I'm also joined with Adrian, so I'll hand over to you, Adrian.
Thank you very much, Lucy. So yes, my name is Adrian. I'm the Recruiter Success Executive over here at CharityJob. And my job here is to help our clients with everything when it comes to our system. So whether that be all the tools you have at hand with things like our applicant tracker system, your representation on our site using your organisation profiles, and things like our equal opportunities reporting, which we're going through today.
Thank you, Adrian. So now I'm just going to go through a few little bits of housekeeping before we kick off. So firstly, you should be able to see my slides at the moment. If these go out of sync at any point, then a sync to presenter button should appear. So please press that button and it should sync them back to us. Secondly, we'll hopefully have time to take a couple of questions at the end of this webinar. So if you have a question, please can you add it to the Q&A on Teams. So if you're joining on the Teams app, this should be on the banner at the top of your screen. And if you're joining on your mobile, this should be in the bottom right-hand corner. And the webinar is being recorded and we will share the recording as well as some useful resources afterwards to everyone who has attended. So here's what we're going to be talking about today. So we'll start off by talking a little bit about the importance of diversity. Then we'll move on to talk about how tracking and collecting data can help you build fairer outcomes in the recruitment process. After that, Adrian will be doing a demo of our Equal Opportunities reporting tool, and he'll talk you through how you can use it to monitor the diversity of applicants in the pipeline. And then we'll wrap up by discussing a couple of really impactful and research-backed changes that you can make to your hiring process to help you increase diversity. So we'll be focusing on 3 key stages in the recruitment process. So firstly, writing your job description. Secondly, posting your job. And lastly, assessing candidates. And after that, we'll finish off with the Q&A, which will be led by Claire, our marketing director. So yeah, hopefully we should have some time to take a couple of your questions. But now I'm going to hand over to Adrian.
Thank you very much, Lucy. So yes, today we're going to be talking about the importance of diversity. Now, diversity, it's not just about fairness. It's about maximizing the impact that your charity can have. Now, there's a huge a huge business case for building a diverse workforce. And on the following slide here are just some of the many benefits of having a diverse team or organization. And these are backed by substantial amounts of research. Now, benefits include things like enhanced problem solving, increased team morale and company culture, better brand representation, and greater creativity and innovation. For example, research by McKinsey found in 2020 that in the corporate sector, companies with better gender and ethnic diversity on executive teams far outperformed peer companies with less diversity in terms of their profitability. Now, looking at this in a charity context, having a diverse workforce sorry, I've lost my track there. Having a diverse workforce can really help to understand your beneficiaries. Having a diverse team with varied lived experiences can better empathize with and tailor work and programs to the specific needs of your beneficiaries. In terms of fundraising and outreach, a diverse team can also really help you to connect with a wider range of donors and supporters, leading to increased fundraising success. And in terms of innovation and effectiveness, having diverse perspectives lead to more innovative solutions and better effective work for you. Now I'm going to hand back over to Lucy.
Brilliant. Thank you, Adrian. So now we're just going to do 2 quick polls to understand a little bit more about who we have on the call with us today. So just to say, these polls are anonymous, so no one else will be able to see what you answered except for yourself. So the first question should pop up in just a moment. And this question is, does your charity or organisation currently collect diversity or equal opportunities data in the recruitment process? So if you could just respond to that now with a yes or a no, that would be fantastic. Great, I can see we've already had a lot of responses, but I'll just give it a couple more seconds. Wonderful. Great. So I can see most of you are actually collecting this data currently. So 73% of you do currently collect the data, but still a reasonable amount of you haven't incorporated this into your recruitment process yet. So 27% of you. So that's really interesting. So for those of you who do currently collect that data, I'm going to launch another question in a moment. And the question is, what do you currently use the data you collect for? Now, this is just going to pull a couple of words out into a bit of the word cloud. So it'd be great if you could just enter maybe 2 to 3 words about how you use it here. So that could be, for benchmarking or tracking, or, you're not sure how to use it, whatever that might be. So I'm just going to launch that now and give you all a bit of time to enter a response into that. Okay, I can see we've got 14 responses, which is great. So a couple more coming in now as well. So we've got a bit of a mix of responses coming up. I can see quite a lot of you are saying you're not sure, which is really interesting, and hopefully we can help you think more about that today. I can also see people are saying that you're sharing it with the board, which is really interesting. A lot about tracking diverse pool and diverse candidates, so perhaps seeing how you're doing on that side of things. Reports as well, I can see writing bids, which is really interesting. Yeah, really helpful to know a bit more about how you use that data. And I can also see a couple of other mentions, such as assessing where you recruit. So yeah, lots to go off in there. But for those of you who did say that you're not so sure, hopefully the rest of this webinar can help you a little bit with that. And hopefully we can help the rest of you as well think about other things which you may be able to do with this data too. So data is really key to understanding where your charity currently stands with diversity and inclusivity in the hiring process. So collecting equal opportunities data isn't about positive discrimination. In fact, with our tool, candidate demographic data is completely anonymous. Rather, by understanding the profile of your applicants and your hires, you should be able to identify strengths and weaknesses in your recruitment process, and you can use that information to help you set really clear and targeted diversity goals, so you can know sort of how to take the right action to hit those goals. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So if you sort of learn from your data that perhaps you're not really attracting a diverse range of candidates, so you look at your applications and you see that maybe there's certain groups who aren't applying for your role, so let's say older candidates, for example, you might then set a goal to try and increase the representation of those underrepresented groups in your applicant pool. Or another goal might be actually to improve hiring rates of certain underrepresented groups if you're seeing that this is maybe where you have a bit of an issue. So perhaps you're attracting a diverse pool of candidates, but when it comes down to hiring, then you're not really seeing that diversity maintained. So this data-driven approach can help you to uncover potential biases, bottlenecks in the hiring process, and areas where underrepresented or diverse candidates may be dropping off. So in a moment, I'm going to hand over to Adrian, who's going to talk about how you can monitor diversity at CharityJob through our 3-to-use equal opportunities reporting tool. But I just want to quickly address a couple of questions I've seen just pop up about the slides. They should be on slide 9. If they're not syncing to us, then a sync to presenter button should appear, so you can press that to sync them back to us. But Adrian's just going to share the slides now, so hopefully they'll come back to the right place when we're back anyway. So Adrian, I will hand over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Lucy. So yeah, I'm going to share my screen shortly with us. Again, hopefully that will fix the issue with the slides there. But what we'll do is I'll share my screen to take us through. And then when we go back, we can fix that all for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what our equal opportunities reporting is going to look like for both our candidates and for yourselves. Now, when a candidate signs up with us, they will be asked to fill out these questions as part of creating their profile with us. Now, if they already had a profile with us before this became live, when they apply to a role that has the equal opportunity reporting live on it, they will be asked to answer these questions. Once they have that done, the results are then saved to their profile and they will not have to think about it again, and it will then be applied to any roles they apply to which have it live in the future. Now, when we are on the candidate profile here, we would scroll down, and this is where we would find the questions. Now, these questions cover a variety of subjects. They cover gender identity, age, do they consider themselves to be disabled under the Equality Act of 2010, their ethnic group, sexual orientation, religious beliefs, and if they consider themselves to be from a lower socioeconomic background. Now, the candidates do have the option of making this information visible when they apply. They can retract the information, but we have found only a very, very small amount of people have opted for that. So you should get some great results from using this. Now, looking at it from the client side, this is a account I have live here where I have 9 live ads, and I've been using CharityJob's quick apply feature, which will soon be renamed to CharityJob Apply. And I've had the system live for all of my ads here. So to access my reporting, I would go up to the top here to More and to my Equal Opportunities reports. Now here you can see this data is pulled from 9 job postings that I have with a combined total of 46 applications. And looking across these graphs here, we can see a good representation of all our candidates that have used our systems, gender identity, their age, etc., answering all of the questions. Now, this could be really great to help us identify the types of people that we are getting our applications from. Now, if you wanted to compare this against the people that you are hiring, what you will do is when you are using CharityJob's quick apply feature or CharityJob Apply and our applicant tracker system, as long as you have moved your candidates through your process and put them into the hired section, you'll be able to access this report here and see a comparison of your applicants to the people you are hiring. And this will be really great for you to help better your equality, diversity, and your inclusion. Now here, this is an example. These aren't real jobs, but we can notice that if I go to gender identity and I have a look at our hires here, especially for male candidates, 15 out of the 46 applications we received, which is 33%, identify as male, but 9 out of the 14 hires we made were male. This is 64%. So here we can see there's a strong leaning side towards male candidates in our hiring process. So this could be something we could adjust to. Again, we can go through all of our applications here and we can see all of them against the different graphs. Now, if you wanted to look at individual roles or maybe a certain set of roles, we do have the ability to filter these. So we go back to our application diversity, and here at the top right we have a filter. And using this, we can select maybe 1 or 2 roles and show the reports. And now this information here is based purely upon these roles. You can even narrow it down to just 1 as long as it has received 5 applications or more. Now, the reason why we do this is to help better our anonymity for our candidates when they apply with us. Now, I'm just going to hand back to Lucy.
Brilliant. Thank you, Adrian. I'm just going to get the slides back and hopefully we can solve that issue for anyone who was finding it. Great, so this should have taken you back to slide 10, but if it hasn't, you should be able to flick through and you can meet us there on slide 10. And I will hand back over to Adrian and we'll move to slide 11 so he can chat about some of the benefits of our 3 tool.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Lucy. So yes, just going over some of the benefits of our system here. So it's quick and easy to use for our candidates once they have filled out that process. Once it is then done for them for forever, for as long as they post with us, they apply with you. It saves you time because all of these reports are automatically generated as long as you have the equal opportunities reporting turned on for your roles. This will help you to better understand your pipeline and be able to compare the diversity of your applicants versus your hires. And it will help you to identify any kind of areas for improvements. And all of these tools here that you have seen so far today are all free as part of posting with us.
Great, thank you, Adrian. So now we're going to touch on some of the changes that you can make to your hiring process to help you increase diversity. So as I mentioned at the start, we're going to be focusing on 3 key steps. So firstly, writing your job description, then posting your job, and finally assessing candidates. Now, I just want to quickly say here that there's an awful lot we could talk about. So we're just concentrating on 6 of the most impactful changes. And these are all things which have been backed by substantial research. So yeah, they should be a really good starting point for you, but we will also be sharing some more resources after this webinar to offer more detail if you want to learn more about any of these things, and also to look at kind of some other things that you can apply as well. But firstly, I'm going to talk about writing your job descriptions. So I'm going to be focusing on 2 evidence-backed tips to think about when you're writing them. So these tips are particularly useful for you if you learn that the diversity of your candidate pool is a weaker area. So let's say you've just looked at your equal opportunities report and you're seeing that your applicants all sort of have a similar profile. And then these are things that you really might want to think about. And this should help you increase applicants from those kind of underrepresented groups, but also increase the general number of applicants you're getting as well. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is using inclusive language. So it's really important to make sure that your job descriptions use inclusive language that attracts a diverse pool of candidates, and that you avoid using non-inclusive language which could deter potential candidates from applying for a role. So there are 3 types of non-inclusive language that I'm going to briefly talk about. So these are gender-coded, age-biased, and non-literal. So firstly, gender-coded language. This refers to words or phrases which are associated with a specific gender. So as an example, terms like champion, strong, assertive, these are considered to be male-coded, whereas words like supportive, collaborative, and nurturing are more commonly considered to be female-coded. And what the research has shown is that job descriptions which use a lot of male-coded language deter women from applying to them. So women may perceive the role as being more suited to men, less appealing, and they also feel like they wouldn't fit in. So consequently, the research suggests that they're actually about 50% less likely to apply. However, what's really interesting is that the reverse isn't actually true. So job descriptions which have more female-coded language don't actually deter men from applying for them. So therefore, it's really important to specifically look out for male-coded language, but ideally you want your job description to be pretty neutrally gendered. And to help you do this, you can use free gender decoder tool online, and this is just where you copy and paste your job description into it, and it will tell you whether your ad is more male-coded or female-coded or neutral. And we will be sharing a link to that tool after the webinar. Now, secondly, age-biased language is another type of language to be mindful of. So in this context, it refers to words or phrases which are associated with younger people and may be discriminatory towards older workers. So some examples of this type of language can include words and phrases like being adaptable, being a recent graduate, or a digital native, for example. And what's interesting is that research by the Centre for Aging Better found that older candidates also find this language to be really off-putting, and they feel that they'd be less likely to get an interview or a job offer with a job that uses that kind of language. And finally, I'm also going to talk about non-literal or figurative language. So this refers to where you use words in a way that means something different to their actual meaning. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because this type of language can be quite difficult for some neurodivergent individuals to understand. And we do see a lot of these kind of phrases commonly on job descriptions. So some examples include words and phrases like learning the ropes, maybe rolling up your sleeves, having lots of room for growth, being a team player, and so on. Now, secondly, instead of focusing your job descriptions on traditional qualifications and experience, it's much better to think about the essential skills that are needed to do the job and to focus your job descriptions on that. So this means prioritizing skills for the role. So let's say that could be data literacy or problem solving, for example, over things like having a degree or maybe having, say, 3 years of experience in a particular sector. So by doing this, it will help you to expand your talent pool, so opening up opportunities to those who've maybe come from diverse backgrounds or different career paths, but still the type of people who have really excellent transferable skills. And it also helps to create that sort of fairer opportunity for everyone by removing some of those unnecessary requirements. And just to back this up, it's really interesting because really large systematic reviews of research, so actually more than 100 years of research, have shown that both years of experience and someone's education are actually pretty poor predictors of future job performance. And the same research has also showed that it's much more effective to assess someone's actual skills. So let's just briefly look at an example. So imagine that you are recruiting for a marketing and communications assistant. So instead of asking for something like a year of experience working on marketing campaigns and perhaps education at degree level in a relevant discipline, it would be much more effective to consider the skills. So an example could be the ability to write creatively through a range of channels and to adapt the writing style according to the audience. So by shifting the focus to skills, you should be able to attract a wider range of qualified candidates and also increase your chances of finding a good fit for your team. So now I'm going to hand over to Adrian, who's going to talk about posting your job.
All right, brilliant. Thank you, Lucy. So now that we've written our job description, we're going to get to wanting to post our job. Now, we're going to go through 2 key evidence-based strategies that help to promote equal opportunities when you post your role. Now, these are especially important for you to increase the diversity of your hires. So if you're a charity that's often seeing from your equal opportunities reporting that you're getting a diverse range of candidates applying for you, but you always end up hiring people from similar backgrounds, it's likely that there may be some potential bias in your hiring process. So using these tactics can help to mitigate that. Now, firstly, I'm going to talk about anonymous recruitment. Now, using anonymous recruitment, a candidate's name can significantly influence their chances of progressing in the hiring process. So studies have shown that applicants with ethnic minority names receive significantly fewer positive responses, things like interview invitations, compared to those with English sounding names, even when they have identical CVs. For example, in a 2023 study, researchers submitted over 12,000 job applications to more than 4,000 job ads to investigate hiring discrimination. They manipulated the names of the candidates, but they used identical CVs and found that applicants with non-anglicized names received 57% fewer positive responses, so invites to interview or something similar, than those with Anglican names for leadership roles, and 45% for non-leadership roles. So to help improve equal opportunities, consider using anonymous recruitment. When candidates apply, their names are hidden, preventing unconscious bias from affecting the initial stages of your hiring process. CharityJob Recruiter offers anonymous recruitment as part of the Quick Apply feature. This means that you can automatically anonymize names and replace them with pseudonyms, ensuring a fair evaluation of your candidates based solely upon their qualifications and their skills. Now, secondly, you should use skills-based screening questions for candidates to submit along with their CV. With CharityJob Apply, you also get access to free access to our screening questions feature. You can use screening questions with this feature in place of application forms, which we have found from our candidates are a major deterrent when they go to apply for a role. These questions assess candidates' abilities directly, reducing the impact of potential biases in their CVs. By evaluating candidates based upon the demonstrated skills, you increase the likelihood of selecting the most qualified individuals, regardless of their background, helping you to build more diverse and qualified workforces. By adopting these 2 strategies, you can significantly enhance the fairness and inclusivity in your process. So our job has been posted. It's been up for a little while, and we're now in the assessment stage of all of our candidates. Now, if we want to assess our candidates as fairly as possible, here are two impactful things that you can do. Again, these should help to reduce the bias in your assessments and help to increase the likelihood of hiring diverse candidates. Now, firstly, you should use scoring criteria and related marking frameworks. It's really important that you agree on what you're assessing your candidates against. And as we mentioned before, these should be based upon the core skills needed for the job, not things like whether or not they have a degree, and how you're going to mark them against this assessment criteria. When designing your marking framework, we recommend keeping it simple and easy to use. So something like a 1 to 5 scale, for example, with 1 being a poor demonstration of the skill and 5 being an exceptional example. This may work well for you. It would also be really sensible to create some examples of what 1, 3, and 5 ratings would look like in practice, so that everyone on your team is on the same page. This helps to better understand the expectations and maintain consistency. By using scoring criteria and marking frameworks, you'll focus on the most relevant factors and reduce the influence of any personal biases. When using CharityJob Recruiter, this is an option that you may use to help evaluations on your candidates and filter based upon the ratings that you give them. Now, finally, we recommend that you include individuals from diverse backgrounds on your hiring panel. This will help to level out your own subjectivity or any unconscious biases and should help you to avoid falling into the trap of hiring people who are similar to you and, quote, fit the group. There have been some studies, like one conducted by the tech company Cisco in the US, and these have shown that diverse hiring panels can significantly improve the odds of success for underrepresented candidates. For example, Cisco found that when they used diverse panels, they improved the odds of making it through the interview process by 50% for Hispanic women and 70% for African American women. So by utilizing these tools here, you can really help to make a difference in your team.
Brilliant. Thank you, Adrian. So that's a bit of a brief overview of some of the things which you can do to help you build fairer outcomes in your hiring process. It's not an exhaustive list, and we will be sharing more resources later today or tomorrow. But for now, we'd love to open up the Q&A. So if you haven't already, please can you leave any questions that you have in the Q&A, and I'll hand over to Claire, who's going to be reading out some of these questions.
Thanks, Lucy, and thanks, Adrian. That was a really great webinar, really informative. I think it's probably worth mentioning as well that our applicant tracking system is completely free when you post a role with us, so you can access this. And if you're posting a role using Quick Apply or CharityJob Apply, then this equal opportunities reporting is completely free to you as well. We're actually drawing quite close to the end of the webinar now, so I'll get through as many questions as I can, and those that we don't get through, we can respond via the material that you're going to receive later today or tomorrow. So let me just get on to the first question. Someone has asked whether the tool is anonymous.
It's a brilliant question. I imagine that's in regards to the equal opportunities reporting tool, and yes it is. So all information is stripped back. You are only able to see the answers to which you receive. You won't be able to identify which ones have come from which candidates. And again, the reason why we make it so that if a ad receives less than 5 applications, you're not able to have a look at the individual jobs reporting, is because we wanted to make it so that the candidate's information could be as anonymous as possible also.
Thanks, Adrian. And we've got 1 minute left, so one last question. Can we use equal opportunities reporting for volunteers as well as paid roles?
Yes.
Oh,
sorry.
Sorry, Lisa.
You go for Adrian.
Yes, you are able to use it on any ad that you post with us using the Quick Apply feature, or CharityJob Apply soon to be.
Fantastic. I think we'll probably finish there because we're quite tight for time.
Brilliant, thank you. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining us today. It's been really great to have so many of you on this call, and I hope it's been helpful to learn a bit more about our 3 equal opportunities reporting tool. Please keep your eye out for an email later today or tomorrow, which will have the recording of the webinar in, as well as some additional resources which hopefully might help you with promoting equal opportunities. And we'll also share a link link to a feedback survey, which would be really grateful if you could complete. And also please do keep your eye out for more webinars, which we will be hosting in future months. But thank you so much, everyone, and we hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you very much.